Well, welcome to Heirs' first year marriage conference. Glory to God. This is the first of many, and we're excited about what God is doing in the lives of people that are believing to be married, as well as those who are married. We believe that the Lord sent us here as one of our assignments is to strengthen marriages, and so we're excited that you're a part of this. You can never despise small beginnings. So, we had no clue how this is going to turn out. We still don't know because it's still early yet. So, but we are so grateful that you have decided to actually join us and celebrate with us and to grow and learn how God really intended marriages to be. And even if you're not married, how to flow as a single person. I wish I had conferences and things like, just to understand, okay, how should I be conducting myself before I actually get married? Because I was breaking all the rules. So, I'm so excited that you guys have joined us, and we want to give you a warm welcome again. Glory to God.
And just give you an idea of how we're going to flow. We're going to, the conference is Pillars to Passion. So there's pillars that God wants established that can actually assist you in maintaining the passion in a marriage. Those that are not married, if you learn the pillars now, you always have a passionate relationship. Now, when you hear passion, a lot of people think passion, and they kind of equate it to intimacy. But we're talking about, think about the passion of the Christ. They call it the passion of the Christ. You read through the Bible, Paul even called it passion. They call it passion because he gave his life for us. So the level of love he gave, John 15:13, no greater love than this than a man has for his friend, that he will lay down his life for his friend. So it wasn't about his lust, it was about his life. So when you hear us talk about passion and then do a lust, it has something to do with really giving your life. And that's why you have a lot of frustration in relationships. Even as you're going through the preparation stage, you find somebody, you feel all butterflies. The butterflies don't last forever, just to help you out right now. The butterflies don't, when the butterflies go, what you gonna do? You gotta deal with the person. And that's what the challenge part is. People try to simulate the butterflies throughout the relationship, and then since they can't simulate the butterflies, then they trip. Because you only can go to the movies for so much. Now, you know that, right? After a while, the movies ain't gonna do it. You go out to dinner, those things are good, but after a while, what's gonna happen? You're gonna have to deal with each other. Yeah. And so if you establish the right pillars, or if you learn what the pillars are, even if you're in the process of moving towards covenant, even if you're not even in a covenant, you want to have pillars to be even ready for it, then you don't have to deal with some of the trauma and the drama that a lot of relationships deal with. So we've been married 20 years. We're the best of friends. We actually, we met October 18th, 1992. We were talking about it today. I was picking with her today because she was like, if you'd have showed up in Columbus sooner from New Jersey, because I was supposed to go to Ohio for college, but I just got scared and went to the first college that accepted me. So she said, you'd have showed up soon, I wouldn't have been in that mess. I said, well, if you'd have waited for me, you wouldn't have been in that mess either. And then I said, well, I did my part. I said, because she was saying it's a tragic thing. She said it's challenging because she has to counsel a lot of females that have to wait for the male to get it. Like, remember that, Kelly? Remember when you had to get, you need to commit? You remember that, right? Yeah. So, yeah, you should be, paying me royalties. I was really working on it back then. All right, so she said that's challenging. She says, I know how it feels to have to wait, have to wait all that time. I said, well, actually, I did my part. I said, because we met October 18th, she had to get knocked upside the head in Las Vegas. Actually, it was New Year's Eve, and she called and says, when I come back, we're going to have a relationship. So that's a few months later after October. 3 months after that, I engaged her. 5 months after that, we got married. And when we were married 20 years, we're the best of friends. So, when it's the one, it's the one. We'll get into a little bit of that later, but I just thought I'd slip that in there, Don't nobody get nervous. Don't leave yet. Don't leave. Lock the doors. So So we're going to talk about pillars of passion, and we don't want to do marriage conference like everybody else does it, where we just sit and pour stuff to you. Sunday, there'll be a word on pillars of passion. I have a good word for you. So that, of course, would be how we normally do Sunday. But today me and my wife, we're going to share some of the pillars. You see I have pillars here. Amy's not here right now. She's coming. Is she coming late? Oh, so they holding her captive. Oh, okay. But she did a great job of decorating. But the pillars are for a reason. We're going to discuss the pillars. So today we may discuss, take 10-15 minutes, discuss a pillar, which will stimulate questions, and we'll fill whatever question you have. If there's no questions, then we'll go back into the next pillar. If there are questions, if there's more questions than pillars, then we'll just fill questions. Because we can tell you, I have this Galaxy Note right here, and I can tell you, this is wonderful. This is a great Galaxy Note. But if you don't know how to apply it, you don't know how to benefit it in your life, it ain't gonna be of no value to you. So if we could sit and just dictate and give you the normal conference, great revelation, but if you're sitting there with questions, and so the questions create holes. The holes stops you from being able to fasten to the revelation. So the revelation can come out hot, heavy. But if you got a question, you can't grab it. You just can't connect to it. But if we can answer your questions, now you go, oh, got it. Okay, I can connect to that. So that's why we want to spend some time to it. So you got to be transparent. Don't worry about making the other person feel bad. Some of y'all ain't gonna worry. But, just what's not exposed can't be helped. Ain't that right, Beck?
That's true. That is so true.
All right, did you have another thought before we get into this?
No, I think you covered it.
All right, so we're talking about pillars to passion. Pillars are priorities or a foundation that upholds your relationship. So it's your foundation. If you don't have a foundation, you're going to crumble and fall. So what happens is some people try to manipulate the foundation. They try to, it's not that important, because you want the relationship so bad, you hustling. So you either hustling through trinkets and toys or through manipulation, but no. You need the foundations because eventually, even if the relationship grows, it's going to be so top heavy it'll cave in because the foundation is weak. So the pillars are going to be important. And then we're going to hit about 4 pillars today. We're going to hit communion, we're going to hit covenant, we're going to hit avoiding compromise, and we're going to hit communication. But the 2 essential pillars are communion and covenant. That's anybody that's going to be in any type of relationship, your communion with God and your covenant with that person is the essential thing that's going to uphold your relationship. Before the kids, it's your communion with God and your covenant with that individual. Because eventually the kids grow up. We have some people that have older kids. I know you have older kids, but the kids grow up and they got their own families. They're like so. When we got together, so she was babying that boy. So what was your line? She said, honey, I'd have drove you out this house and I'd be by myself right now. Because, my son is 35, he has 4 kids. So you would have drove me out the house just because I'm trying to, I had to teach her how to be a man. So again, so the children are valuable, but the children benefit from your solid union. If you allow the children in between, the children will drive you apart. So now you want what's best for them, but they don't get both of their parents. They get a divided type of household. So it's God, us. God pours into us, and we pour into the children. All right?
And even communion with God is so important because that's, out of your relationship with God actually is how you flow with other people. So if you don't have a loving relationship with the Father and even accepting his love for you personally, it's going to be very difficult for you to actually extend love to someone else or even to receive love. So everything starts with God. Everything has to start with God. In order to actually build a strong, solid foundation, even, if you think about it, some people have been through divorce and stuff like that. If I'll use myself as an example, if I did not have a solid relationship with God, that divorce could have crumbled me because I would have been looking at, well, God, where were you at? How come you didn't help? How come you didn't deliver me from this bad marriage? When I wasn't really supposed to be in the marriage in the first place. It was one of those Sarah things. I made it happen. You know what I mean? But the thing is, we got to have a vital relationship with God, because that should never shake. You should never be shaken. Nothing should ever shake that relationship. Nothing. No one, nothing should ever shake that. So it's out of our communion and relationship with God that we're able to extend and receive love from others.
That was good, sweetheart. The other thing that we want to hit as far as pillars and passion is, this weekend we'll have married as well as those that are not married. And what we do is we try to encourage people to go through God's ideal way of a process to purpose. So ideally, when you discover someone, like you go, okay, I believe, oh my God, this is the one, you get the little butterflies. Okay, but now when you get butterflies, that's emotions, right? Y'all know that, right? Infatuation. You feel good. And now, so there's not too many young people in here. So you already know those feelings can get you in trouble. How many times if you felt like this is it and got yourself hurt before? Can I get a raise of hand? Come on, just get them up. Everybody needs to be putting their hands up, but that's cool. Right, so if you're honest with yourself, you know what? You can't trust yourself. Right? You can't trust your feelings. So that's why God established what's called courtship. Courtship is putting yourself in an environment where now you're testing what you believe you feel. So that's a discovery stage, because you know how you feel so good, and the last thing you want to do is like ask the tough questions, because then you don't want to shake everything feeling good. You don't want to mess up the butterflies. You want them to keep on flying. You don't want to clip no wings, right? But if you don't ask that tough question, normally, come on, y'all. I want y'all to go back in the memory a little bit. Don't stay there. Just go back in the memory a little bit. The question that you didn't ask or the thing that you didn't challenge is normally what caused you to break up in a relationship, right? Mm-hmm. So the goal is, if we're going to be together forever, let's be together for real forever. Let's talk about everything. So that's the purpose of a courtship process. Now you'll start talking about your background. You'll talk about your worldview. Your worldview is shaped by repetitious information, authoritative voices in your environment. You'll talk about your gender difference. It's obvious that my wife is a lot lighter than me. Right? That's obvious, right? Y'all can't see that? Yeah, I mean, anybody can see that, right? Okay, so suppose...
She needed a little brightness. No.
But suppose our argument is, you need to darken up. No, seriously, like how we gonna get along? And you just come on, I can't even see. She can't change how she looks as far as her feet. But guess what? She can't change her gender either. Her gender design. So I could think, Melanie tripping. But no, it's not Melanie tripping. I gotta understand her design. Because I could be trying to force her to change herself at her core, which she can't do. But she could love me so much, she could be trying to change it. Which, as opposed to getting me to understand it. Same thing with me. I'm a man's man. There's certain things, it's a part of my gender. Listen, in the early part of the marriage, I would try to change. It's like, babe, let's just face reality. This part right here is the guy part. I'm not talking about, I don't hang out with the fellas and I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about core. You can't change your core, but if you don't understand that, how we're designed as a core, you'll frustrate each other. Because if I just run at her logically, listen, it's just not gonna work. Because feelings don't have no logic to it. Y'all know that, right? Y'all might not want to admit to it, but it's true. It don't make no sense, and it ain't gonna make no sense. But if I just babe, all you gotta do is think like this. She's looking at me like, all you gotta do is feel me. If you just was more sensitive, I'm like, no, if you just break it down like this, babe. So you see, that's gender differences. So we need to understand all those things. So we go through that in courtship. And